I want to request Isa to give us the welcome remarks. Thank you so much.
Today's conference reflects Include's approach in a number of ways. It's a partnership between an African and a Netherlands-based organization. It's jointly organized by EPRC and Include, and it builds on the African policy dialogue initiated by EPRC with support of Include. It seeks to provide a more Pan-African perspective, bringing together policy stakeholders from Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Mozambique, and learning from cases in Ethiopia, South Africa, and elsewhere.
There are many poor people in Uganda, but on the other hand there are very few or no billionaires. So the rich in Uganda are poorer than the rich in many other countries. The poor, unfortunately, are just poor. Now, how do we make the poor a bit richer? And there are many ways, I suppose, to try to do that. But if we stick to the topic of today, through social protection, there's a few elements I think that you need. First, you need political consensus. Are the elites willing to give up some of their wealth to benefit the poor? In other words, are they ready to redistribute some of that wealth?
Inclusiveness is the only way to ensure that citizens equitably enjoy the prosperity generated by growth. This way, we guarantee social, political, and economic stability, and hence peace and security in our nations. Essentially, social protection and social security is a human right as well as a social and economic necessity. Safeguarding human rights, therefore, that includes the rights to social protection, is an obligation of the state, but still remains a shared responsibility with partners and citizens, as we are seated here. Unfortunately, however, the policy formulation processes in most of our countries on social protection has been quite slow.
Actually, I think a challenge we have across Africa is a challenge of accountability. Everybody's exposed to risks throughout the life cycle. We have risks from childhood, such as the risk of undernutrition, stunting, the risk that we may not get to school because people are living in poverty, unemployment as we go through, old age becomes a particular risk with high rates of disability, and disability is a risk right across the life cycle. Even having children is a risk, because if you have a child, suddenly often the mother has to leave the labour force, where you have higher costs in looking after the child. And that's what many factors that throw people into more and more poverty.
There's compelling evidence that social protection helps to achieve 14 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. One evidence from South Africa, the destitution gap, that's a line, a poverty line that is higher than the real poverty line in all the countries represented in the room here. South Africa's social grants reduce poverty by about 2/3. It is the government's single most effective instrument for tackling poverty and destitution.
For a private pension company to set up a pension scheme, and especially in the informal sector, which might take you 5 to 10 years before you break even, you need organizations, you need NGOs, you need donors to support you in the first 7 to 10 years. Because the amount of money that you are collecting is quite small. And because it's a voluntary pension scheme, people decide when they want to pay. So often one of the challenges is, how do you make sure that you are able to fund your 7 to 10 years?
We have something we are calling the Big Four agenda of the government, which is now also trying to address issues of social protection. There you're talking about support to manufacturing, agriculture and nutrition, which is now, that is housing. Then we're also looking at something we are calling universal health care, where we want each and every Kenyan to have at least some insurance cover.
We have programs in terms of social protection. We have 4 types. We have 2 under social insurance. We have the public service pension scheme. But basically this is for people who are in formal employment. And it covers less than 500,000 people, so it's actually very limited in terms of scope of coverage. And the amount of money, you get a lump sum when you retire, but you also get a monthly stipend depending on your level when you retired from service. That is very limited given the fact that there are very few people in this country who are in the formal service. But then we also have the National Social Security Fund. And this is basically for all firms that employ 5 persons and above. Then we have the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment, SAGE. I think you've discussed this at the conference. And this is basically where we have money given out on a monthly basis. Money goes to the vulnerable families. That went, I think, for about 2.5 years, and somehow it stopped because of the complexities of identifying these families and giving this money. And basically now we're just focusing on the Senior Citizens Grant, where shilling 25,000 is given to anybody 65 years and above.
In 2015, we decided to come up with a vision for the county, which we co-visioned 2025. The vision has 3 pillars, mirrors a lot the national government vision, and the pillars include the economic affairs pillar, which seeks to improve household incomes. We have the social amenities and services pillar, and this one seeks to ensure a just and inclusive, cohesive society. And we have a political pillar, which goal is a people-centered and accountable government.
The biggest challenge we are having is that most of our institutions operate like silos. The left does not know what the right is doing.
One of the greatest things that has given us a mile in advancing our social protection is the institutional realignment and arrangement.
Social protection policy in Africa has many stakeholders, a lot of stakeholders who have different interests in why they are supporting social protection.
Information sharing among the various stakeholders, then also try to see how the various services can be integrated, where the services are offered by different government institutions. If they can be integrated in one institution, then it will be much better to offer social protection services.
The conference has happened at a time when Africa is faced with a growing population. Poverty is on the rise. In Uganda, poverty reversed last year. Vulnerability is increasing. Climate change is here with us. And so many things are happening. So we do hope that our deliberations today will not remain here. Instead, we are going to use what we've gained here to inform our governments on how best to mitigate these challenges through a social protection lens. Include and EPRC will remain committed to continue informing policy processes in Africa, especially on social protection through evidence.